Friends, good evening. They called the Gripen a lightweight, too small, too cheap, built only for defense. Critics said flying it against top-tier fighters was like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Then, Red Flag Alaska 2006 happened. On the first day, Swedish Gripens stunned observers. According to Swedish sources, they scored 10 kills, including 1 Eurofighter Typhoon and 5 F-16 Block 50s, while remaining undetected and without losses. In one close-range fight, a single Gripen pilot reportedly defeated 5 F-16s alone. The U.S. Air Force never officially confirmed the numbers, but the performance was strong enough that the Gripen was invited back. For years, the aircraft had been dismissed on paper. Single engine, less fuel, smaller weapons load. Analysts labeled it a budget, lightweight underdog, outmatched against the F-15, F-16, and Eurofighter Typhoon. That view missed the point. The Gripen was built for survival, not spectacle. Advanced sensors, electronic warfare, data link networking, and highly trained pilots allowed it to fight smarter, not harder. At Red Flag, it stayed unseen, controlled engagements, and struck on its own terms. The lesson is simple. Modern air combat isn't decided by size or engine count. It's decided by information, awareness, and efficiency. The world misunderstood the Gripen once. For Canada, now facing a historic fighter decision, that misunderstanding could be costly if repeated. They were assigned to the Red Team, the enemy force, and they weren't facing weak opponents. Across the sky were US F-16 Block 50s, Eurofighter Typhoons, and the F-15C Eagle, one of the most dominant air-to-air fighters ever built. Conditions were stacked against the Gripen. AWACS support was limited, aircraft numbers were restricted, ground support was minimal. The Gripen had to operate largely on its own. That's where things turned unexpected. The Gripen didn't rely on AWACS, it became the AWACS. Using advanced data link networking, one Gripen would briefly activate its radar, collect the full tactical picture, and instantly share it with the rest of the formation. The others stayed radar silent, effectively invisible, yet fully aware of enemy positions, movements, and threats. The result was superior situational awareness without revealing themselves. The opposing pilots didn't know where the Gripens were until the fight was already over. According to a former Swedish flight test engineer, on the first day, Gripens achieved 10 kills, including 1 Eurofighter Typhoon and 5 F-16s Block 50s during the opening phase, undetected and without losses. In one close-range engagement, a single Gripen pilot defeated 5 F-16s Block 50s, a scenario where, on paper, the lighter aircraft is supposed to lose. There was more. The Gripen was the only aircraft to complete every planned sortie in all weather conditions. Skeptics point out these are Swedish sources. Fair question. Then came Norway. In a separate exercise, 3 Swedish Gripens faced 5 Royal Norwegian Air Force F-16s. Norwegian pilots trained to full NATO standards, comparable to Sweden. The exercise took place in Sweden, a home field advantage, yes, but the outcome was clear. Round 1, 5-0. Gripen wins. At that point, the pattern was impossible to ignore. Round 2, 5-0. Gripen wins. Round 3, 5-1. Gripen wins. Norway scored a single kill. This wasn't marketing. These results were publicly recorded by a NATO ally. The Gripen had now proven it could consistently defeat the F-16 Block 50, a fighter with decades of real combat experience from Iraq to Afghanistan. At that point, attention shifted. But one question remained. Can the Gripen perform in real operations, not just exercises? In March 2024, Sweden ended more than 200 years of neutrality and joined NATO as its 32nd member. Less than 24 hours later, on March 11th, the Gripen flew its first NATO combat mission. That morning, Swedish Gripens and Belgian F-16s intercepted a Russian aircraft flying without a flight plan over the Baltic Sea. That afternoon, Swedish Gripens and German Eurofighters intercepted another Russian aircraft. No transition period, no gradual integration. The Gripen synchronized instantly with NATO command systems, F-16s and Eurofighters, as if it had been there for years. In April 2025, Gripens deployed to Poland for NATO's Enhanced Air Policing mission, operating alongside British Eurofighter Typhoons. They conducted real intercepts of Russian aircraft violating airspace. This was no longer training. These were live missions, real tension, real adversaries. And the Gripen didn't just survive, it performed. Now, put yourself in Canada's position. Canada has signed a deal for 88 F-35s. The first 16 have arrived. Then political reality shifts. Donald Trump returns to the White House. Tariff threats target Canadian aerospace. Trade tensions rise. Quiet doubts emerge in Washington about Canada's reliability as an ally. Then Sweden knocks with a different offer. Saab proposes a full production line in Canada, not assembly. 72 Gripens plus 6 Global I AEW and C aircraft. 12,600 jobs. 9,000 for Gripen, 3,600 for Global I. A joint venture with Bombardier, a pillar of Canadian aerospace. And the key detail? Full technology transfer, including source code. Canada would control upgrades, modifications, and future development independently. No permissions, no supply chain vulnerability, no risk of being cut off in a crisis. This isn't just about aircraft. Sweden and Canada share the same strategic reality. Harsh climates, vast territory, small populations, Arctic exposure to Russia, and the need for smart, sustainable defense, not just the most expensive option. At that point, the question for Canada stops being technical. It becomes strategic. The Gripen was built for exactly the conditions Canada faces: vast distances, harsh weather, limited infrastructure, high readiness demands. But this isn't just about buying fighter jets. It's about rebuilding an industry. In 1959, Canada canceled the Avro Arrow, at the time one of the most advanced fighter aircraft in the world. Thousands of engineers lost their jobs. Many left for the United States, joined NASA, and helped put humans on the moon. Canada lost something far more permanent: the ability to design and build its own combat aircraft. 66 years later, that door has reopened. With the Gripen, Canada wouldn't simply purchase jets, it would regain technological sovereignty. Full access to source code means full control of the future. Software upgrades done independently. Cyber vulnerabilities patched on Canada's timeline. No foreign backdoors, no supply chain pressure during a crisis. This model already works. In Brazil, hundreds of engineers were trained in Sweden. Local suppliers joined the production chain. A domestic aerospace ecosystem grew around the Gripen. Not just maintenance jobs, but high-end engineering and manufacturing. And the export potential is real. Ukraine has signed a letter of intent for 100 to 150 Gripens. France and Germany have shown interest in the Global I airborne early warning platform. If Gripens were built in Canada, Ottawa wouldn't just defend itself, it could export globally, generating long-term revenue and industrial depth. Then there's the issue every government ultimately faces: cost. According to a 2012 IHS Janes Aerospace and Defense Consulting study, Gripen CD, approximately $4,700 per flight hour. F-16 Block 4050, approximately 49% higher. FA-18 Super Hornet, $11,000 to $24,000. Rafale, approximately $16,500. Eurofighter Typhoon, approximately $18,000. F-35A, approximately $21,000 to $31,000. RAF and U.S. Navy estimates. Current Saab data places the Gripen EF at roughly $22,100 per flight hour, including fuel, maintenance, personnel, and logistics. The conclusion is hard to ignore. The Gripen isn't just a fighter option. It's a strategic reset, industrial, technological, and economic, built for countries that need capability, control, and sustainability, not dependency. For comparison, the F-16V costs about $25,600 per flight hour, while the F-35A exceeds $46,000. Accounting methods vary, but one fact is consistent: the Gripen is always among the lowest-cost modern fighters to operate. That translates into reality. Lower costs mean more flight hours, higher pilot proficiency, and far more sorties. Canadian pilots could fly 3 times more than on an F-35 fleet. But the choice isn't simple. The U.S. ambassador warned that walking away from the F-35 could affect NORAD, signaling this is as much a political loyalty test as a defense decision. Inside Canada, Former RCAF leaders argue that running two fighter types increases cost and complexity. The F-35 offers stealth and deep strike power. The Gripen excels at air policing, homeland defense, and sustained operations. So the real question is strategic: offense or defense? Dependence or independence? Fewer expensive jets or more aircraft flying more often? The Gripen isn't overrated, it's underestimated. Red Flag, Norway, and NATO operations proved it wins through networking, data, and pilot effectiveness, not brute force. Canada's decision will shape its defense for 50 years. The real question isn't whether the Gripen is good enough, it's whether Canada is ready to choose its own path. Thanks for watching SkyJet Wings.